Hey, what's up guys? Brad with the Squared Away Everyday channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the iKamper Aioks stove system, I guess you'd call it. I don't know what you'd really call it, but essentially what it is it's a camp stove, camp storage, and a camp table all in one. And it kind of folds up into this nice little box, and it's been a pretty cool stove to this point. Just a full disclosure, iKamper didn't send this out to me. I paid for it, and I've been using it now for a little over a year, and I think I've used it for a total of maybe 15 or 16 days. I forget what it was. Anyway, and so I've had a good amount of use with it, and in those 15, 16 days, I've used it for breakfast and dinner pretty much every one of those days, and I just don't really cook lunch on the trail. So anyway, that's what we're going to be taking a look at. If you haven't had a chance yet, please go ahead and like the video, sub to the channel, and let's take a look at it. All right, so as you guys know, anytime I do these reviews, I put myself in your guys' shoes and I say, what makes that product special compared to all the other products on the market that it's competing with? Why is it going to earn my dollars? And to break it down simply, this product will save you space. It's a space saver is essentially what it is when you're packing up. And it's a high quality stove at the same time. So rather than you packing a dry food storage box, something to carry your fuel as well, and then you're also going to be packing a table and a stove. This is kind of everything all in one. So the iKamper Aioks, a great product. I've been really happy with it to this point, but I'm making the video because it is a fairly expensive product compared to some of the other stoves and camp kitchens on the market. Now, for what you get for it being a table, camp storage, and then also a stove, I think it's actually fairly cheap, to be honest with you. If you're to add all that stuff up and buy them separately and then pack them up separately, I think it's worth it in terms of just the space savings alone. But we'll kind of talk about it, my experience with it, the pros, the cons, and everything in between. I'm not going to get too nerdy on like the details of it because I think that's kind of boring, but we'll definitely talk about it. So essentially what we've got on this thing is we've got two burners. They're Covea burners, which it's a great company. Covea's been around a long time, since like the 80s. And Covea makes some very high quality stuff. I believe their factory is a ISO 9001 factory. And I think this particular product, the iKamper Aioks, is ISO 9001 rated and ISO 14001 rated, which just means it's got really good QC, really good quality control, and it's got really good build materials put into it. The actual materials of it, it's an aluminum body, probably like a 16 gauge. It's pretty thin aluminum body, and that's just to save weight, essentially is what it is. It's small. It's like 18.5 inches tall by maybe 18-ish inches just all the way around on the square. And when I first got the box, I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, why is this thing so small? And it's really just because, like what I told you, it's all about space savings and saving you space when you're packing up for your trip, which I'm always trying to do. So it's nice in that regard. And if it was bigger, it would take up more space. Granted, you'd have more dry food storage, but I don't really need more dry food storage. So for me, the storage is really good. Like, the size that they made this thing is awesome. And it's also a con to it as well, because if you've got a normal size camp chair, you're going to be leaning it down and hunkering over this thing to actually cook your meals. So if you've got the shorter camp chairs, like from REI or whatever, those are great. It's just going to fit up against that nicely, and it's really not too big of a deal. Or you're gonna have to squat down if you have bigger chairs. So that's kind of that. Now, when the thing deploys, it folds open, and it's got these aluminum telescopic legs that you can adjust the varying height for different terrains and different surfaces, and you can make it as level as you can get it. The stability of the table itself is okay. It's not perfect when you've got an uneven surface and you're deploying the legs how you're supposed to. It's just kind of an odd, you can get it pretty level for the most part, but it's just not going to be overly stable, if that makes sense. The stability on it, if I had to give it a 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest, it's maybe like a 6.5 out of 10 for the stability on it. Other than that, it's birch wood, what actually folds out for the table, and it's kind of slick, so it's super easy to clean. And the system itself is very low maintenance. I haven't really had to do much to the system at all. They cut they cut weight where they could, like on the aluminum siding and stuff. Probably like a 16 gauge 50-52 aluminum is roughly what I'm guessing it is in terms of the thickness of the walls there. So it's fairly thin. But then you've got like the hinges and the locks for it that are stainless steel. So stuff that you're going to actually need to hold up is stainless steel. It's not like a, heavy duty bear box. So I think that was a good call on their part. It's got this telescopic handle that you can kind of like, if you're like going to a park or something, you can wheel that thing out. For me, I don't use the handle ever. It does have some tiny little rubber wheels on it. It's not like you have to inflate them or anything. And to me, that's, at first I was like, this is kind of dumb. Like, I don't know anybody that's really going to use this in my circle anyways. But for me, the wheels have been very nice getting it in and out of the truck. When I'm about to load it, I'll tip it and roll it on its wheels in. And then when I pull it out, I'll tip it and roll it on its wheels out. And that has actually been very nice so that like the legs and stuff aren't getting caught on the rubber mat I have in the truck. And I'm like, walking it in there and walking it out. So it's been nice for that aspect alone. And that's pretty much it. I mean, not much else to say. I think the thing's around like 20 pounds, something like that. And it can seat 4 people if you all have your little small chairs huddled around it. But even if you don't set up chairs where you're going to like eat around it and you're one of those people that like stands and eats while you're camping, whatever, that's fine too. It's nice to at least have a flat surface for meal prep or even just to like set your drinks down. So that's been pretty cool to this point. Am I happy with the product? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Is it perfect? No, it's not super stable when it's deployed on uneven surfaces, and that just kind of comes with the territory. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do about that. And it's very short. So it's a pro and a con about how compact this thing is, and you're going to have to decide if you like that. Me personally, I do like that. I'd rather have this system than pack a separate table, my dry goods, something to store my fuel, and then also the burners themselves or the camp stove itself. So to me, it's been very, very nice. The burners have been good. I haven't had them get blown out on me while I've been using it. And I've cooked a ton of stuff on this. They get super hot. I've cooked burgers, salmon burgers, quinoa, pastas, all sorts of stuff on this thing. And it's been super, super nice. It gets really hot quickly. And I don't know, it's been really easy to use. I will say there's one thing in terms of the gas. It uses like the MSR type gas where it's like a 50-50 gas. It doesn't use just propane. Now you can buy an adapter from them to where you can use propane on the unit, but it doesn't come with the adapter, which is kind of a bummer when you're spending, I'm not going to say the price because maybe it's going to go down or up in the future, but when you're spending the money you are on this product, you're kind of like, when you get it, you're like, why didn't they just include that in there? Now, granted, I own a businesses, and I know that there's different economics that are involved. I know they're based out of South Korea. And so, shipping, and then maybe there's tariffs involved or whatever. And just the ISO 9000 ratings that you have and all that kind of stuff for like the burners, it costs money. So that's pretty much it. I like the unit as a whole. It's been very convenient for me, and that's pretty much it. If you guys liked the video, please go ahead and give me a like. I'll link the product down below in the description, and sub to the channel if you get a chance, and we'll see you in the next one.